counties of Cass, Jackson, Johnson on the Missouri side, Lafayette on the Missouri side until 8:30. And this is now because of that cell that we were just talking about, at least with gustier winds a little farther west and northwest of that. Now it's pretty much from the Red Bridge area just to the north of Hickman Mills. It does include, say, not too far away from Knobtown and Bryant. So from Truman Corners, not included, but farther to the north, that's where we see this. Lee Summit is right in the path of you as well, staying in effect until 8:30. If we have the safety rules, we can put those up as well. The best advice we can give you, because as radar indicated, and these have had a history of dropping down at any moment, make sure you put as many walls between you and the outside. Wait until the all clear. That's going to be not for another 20, 25 minutes since it expires at 8:30. Also, protect your head, face the wall. Keep the core safe. That's where all the vital organs are from the debris, because that's the #1 killer. And quite frankly, with the winds being as strong as they were before these thunderstorms moved through, wind is going to be the #1 thing that we have to worry about, even without a tornado touchdown. But these are just some of the things to keep in mind, staying away from windows, of course. And at this point in time, I'm sure you're like me, probably either stocking foot or barefoot at home. Make sure you have a pair of shoes for every person in the house, very close by into your safe area until the all clear is issued under that tornado warning, which does once again include anywhere from east of Grandview through Lee Summit, not too far away from Lee Summit West High School. You can see the estimated times of arrival. Longview Community College, 8:04. There are probably night classes going on there. Lee Summit West High School, about 8:08. Lee Summit High School, about 8:08. Lake Lotawana, a little farther to the east, 8:15. Lake Lafayette, 8:28, directly under the wire of when this warning is set to expire. Neville Miller, what do you have?
Oh, Brian, yeah, just continuing the information there, that tornado warning, like you mentioned, until 8:30. Watching a number of other cells. I'm watching an area, let me go just a little bit to the north, keeping an eye on close to Independence, where there could be another area of rotation within this line as well. So near Independence, also watching out there as well for this storm to possibly be rotating near Independence, right along pretty close to 435 there, just north of I-70. You can see near William Chrisman High School. That's going to be an area that we're going to keep a very close watch on. We're also watching what looks like a hook feature there just off to the west of Lee Summit, just south of 470 there. So as you come off 435, we're off I-49, right along 470. I'm going to circle it. It's going to be this little hook area that really has us concerned, very close to Grandview there. That's an area that we need to watch for there with this storm, with the potential. It is showing some rotation. Nick's got some information. Nick,
Go ahead. I see you.
I got you, Marnie. I got you.
Hey, have Marnie talk to us. Marnie, talk to us.
Hey, Brian, we just came through the Truman Sports Complex. I'm sorry, it's a little loud here because of the hail. We're going east on Interstate 70. I got to tell everybody, we just passed an accident, what looked to be a sizable one. People are stopping underneath the overpasses to seek shelter from the hail, and I urge you, please do not do that. You will cause accidents. We just passed one. I don't know how many cars were involved, but it was multiple vehicles. We're heading east on Interstate 70 to get ahead of this storm that could be producing a tornado in Lee Summit. Hail is over the size of quarters. I do have wind gusts occasionally up to 60 miles per hour, but again, do not seek shelter under the overpass from hail or a tornado. Avoid them. Brian, back to you.
Thank you for that update there. And as mentioned, trying to seek shelter to protect your vehicle under the overpass, not a good idea. It causes traffic jams. It does also cause, unfortunately, some problems as far as not only the gridlock, but also, as mentioned, some accidents that are going on. Grandview to Lee Summit, we'll put a storm track on this in just a little bit. Want to also at least look at some of the other information coming in here that I can read off of screen. And I know farthest to the south, just to the south of Raymore, and not too far away from Belton, which is still within this tornado warning. That's where we find Stacy Cameron. Stacy, let me throw it to you.
Heading north now just outside of Belton, starting to get to that point close to Grandview. Heavy winds now starting to play with all the traffic here on I-49. The rain just starting to come into us. We can see low-hanging clouds here going east from us towards that Greenwood area and Raymore right now. Anyone in the path of the storm in this area right now, it is getting very volatile, Brian. We're going to continue to travel a little bit further north towards Grandview and then take 150 east and stay on this storm. But we have gotten the warnings here. Severe weather right now, a lot of lightning, we can say. The rain just starting to fall, but that wind, Brian, very, very heavy. A lot of lightning with this storm. We'll check in with you in a little bit.
The only reason I tell you not to go north because that's closer to where the potential tornado is. So Stacy, I'm advising you to go farther south toward Raymore. That way you at least let this part of the storm pass. Going back to the north is not wise at this point in time going toward Grandview. You okay with that, sir?
We're absolutely all right with that, Brian.
Appreciate
Do it.
that. Part of the tools we have in the First Alert Weather Center, just want to make sure that we keep our crews safe so we keep you safe. So what was going on, and the reason I was a little concerned is this is now the hook or the portion of the cell that we're more concerned about, and Grandview is to the north, so he'd have to pass through that. So right now between Grandview and Belton, that is the area of concern within this tornado warning that stays in effect until 8:30. So once again, Grandview to Lee Summit to Greenwood and points to the east, including not too far away from Lone Jack and eventually heading toward Odessa. That's at least one of the tornado warnings that we have going on at this point in time. Johnny Rollins of News Chopper 9 was back here, at least toward Olathe, New Century Air, Lenexa, who we talked to him earlier about some of the wind that was coming out and even some of the torrential rainfall. But right now you can see the heaviest, Kansas City going down toward Roland Park, Fairway, down toward Leawood. That's the torrential rainfall that continues to fall across the area. Not many reports of hail coming in here, but some of the sirens are continuing to go off. The tornado warnings are still to the east and northeast of the city. But as you mentioned also, there's another tornado warning that I just outlined farther south, which would still put Lee Summit in the path of that. And so now we still have tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings, primarily from now until about 8:30 and continuing at least for that long until this line continues to push farther to the east. Giving the first alert also toward Independence, Blue Springs, Raytown for the torrential rainfall, not necessarily the signature we're looking for. That's farther south, but still now just losing its grip in Leawood and going farther to the east. And if we can zoom in, actually, Neville, if we can go closer to Grandview and toward Belton, where you do have that feature, I want to try to give some crossroads if I can here. There would be Grandview, and zoom it in even farther if you can. This would be right now 100, and that's great, 155th Street. And then you see Grandview up to the north. So there was the hook that we were concerned about, continuing to push farther to the east. And right now it's south of the three trails, which would be up here toward Grandview, but still close enough to southern portions of Jackson County and even Cass County on the Missouri side. And that's part of the reason why the tornado warning is out until 8:30. Seeing power lines down in Parker, Kansas, because this is a volatile situation on both sides of state line with the information still coming through. But as mentioned, the tornado warning still out till 8:30 for Jackson County going farther east toward Lafayette County, northern portions of Cass County too. And that's going to remain in effect mainly because of the radar indicated tornado. Brief heavy downpour is a possibility, and the torrential rain, in addition to the winds gusting up to even 60, 70 miles per hour. This is now going to also impact Lee Summit with a little more of the heavier rainfall. I know that we had Taisha earlier. I'm not sure if she's still on the hook. Okay. Johnny Rollins is back now talking about what is happening in Johnson County, not losing his grip too much. Go ahead, Johnny.
All right, Brian, we are here at the on the far south side of Overland Park near 179th Street and Quivira. And one good thing that we haven't talked about with this line is it's pretty narrow. We already had the heaviest part of this line move through. We were in the core for probably 5 minutes or so with some pea-sized hail, nothing real serious in that regard. And if anything that's surprising is that now that the storm has passed through, the winds have really died down. So it's just ahead of that line where you're going to find the strongest inflow winds, then a pretty good gust front coming by, and after that, it's pretty quiet. Now, having said that, we did have some pretty gusty winds. We have had enough hail to be able to see it on the ground. But right now, nothing serious here in South Overland Park, and it looks like the worst has passed through here right now. By the way, when the gust front did pass over, it looked pretty, I don't want to say routine necessarily, but it was pretty characteristic of kind of that motherlode ship or mothership type thing moving in and over. And once we took that wind shift and had some pretty strong gusts from the south switch over to the west, that was only about a 5 or 10 minute period of time. And it's, I don't want to say it's over right now, but certainly not as extreme as it was a while ago. Back over to you.
Thank you there, Johnny. I'm going to go to Taisha Walker, who's going to follow this line in also out toward Johnson County, a little farther north from Johnny's vantage point. Go ahead, Taisha.
Hey Brian, now we are traveling east on 63rd. We are trying to stay behind the storm to watch it from that area. It looks as though the rain has started to die down a little bit, not as heavy as it was in Olathe and Lenexa when we were traveling through. Right now it also appears that the wind has sort of died down as well. We're not noticing the flags or the trees flying and moving as vigorously as they were before. So right now we're going to keep going east behind the storms and let you know what we see.
Appreciate that. Stay safe as well. Behind the line, that does help. Neville Miller has a couple of reports he wants to throw in. What's going on?
Yeah.
So you've been doing some analysis.
Yeah, Brian, looking at the radar here, and it's really very close to where we have this tornado warning in the Lee Summit area, Unity Village. Looking at radar, I'm seeing some good indications that we may be getting some very strong winds in southeastern parts of Jackson County. The potential of close to 70-mile-an-hour winds. Our radar is picking up that this is within just a few hundred feet off the ground, so that likely may be making it down to ground level. So if you live in Lee Summit, you live in Grandview, you're near Unity Village, I'd say even a little bit off to the east now of Lee Summit, these are some areas that the winds may be gusting up to 50 to 60 miles an hour. So that's going to be right along 50 Highway, along 470, Scruggs Road there near Lee Summit North High School, Longview Community College there, Lee Summit West. These are just a few areas in particular where if you're in that area, you may notice the wind is significantly increased, and we're still keeping a very close eye on the part of the storm that's near Lake Lotawana. Some strong wind there as well, and that's the part that still may have some rotation associated with it as well there. Again, just off to the west of Lake Lotawana. So this is going to be pretty close to Windsor Drive, Howard Road, State Highway 7 there. This is a part of the storm there that has that potential of possibly a spin up there or a tornado. None being reported by this storm as of right now, but certainly, and at least what I'm looking at here, we have that potential of 50 to 60, maybe even 70-mile-an-hour winds, Brian. So it's that hook piece there now just south of Blue Springs. Let me go ahead and erase this off. So a little bit closer up that way, not too far from Grain Valley. That we're keeping an eye on there just off to the south of I-70 now.
So yeah, if we're talking about the winds, I mean, that's near hurricane force. So even if it's not a tornado and a funnel cloud, it's still going to be torrential rainfall and the gusty winds and the forward movement of these storms. So they're going to continue to press off to the east. The heaviest of the rainfall now from about Worlds of Fun. If we can reestablish if Michael Mahoney's still out in the field, that would be great. Just trying to talk to the booth and armchair quarterback here. Independence still in the thick of things as well. But the heaviest of the rainfall will be the leading edge from about Blue Springs, going toward Green Valley, eventually heading toward Bates City. There's your first alert. Buckner as well with the heaviest of the rainfall, but the tornado warning still in effect farther to the south and west between Lake Lotawana and also toward Lee Summit. Stacy Cameron still moving his way. Stacy, what's going on?
Yeah, we're getting hit with hail now here. We're on Missouri 150 East, heading in towards Greenwood. The tornado sirens had gone off here about 5 minutes ago. We're now getting about nickel-sized hail coming down here, pretty heavy, Brian. The wind is blowing pretty decent towards the east right now. A lot of lightning with this storm, and we're probably about 5 to 10 miles off I-49, again heading east towards Greenwood, getting ready right now to cross over Kelly Road. Again, heavy hail coming down in this storm, severe lightning right there going off on us. We haven't seen any power clashes or anything now, but a lot of heavy hail and lightning in this storm, Brian.
We just got a report, Lee Summit, a wind gust to near 60 miles per hour. Tons of lightning that continues, and that's within that tornado warning. So still giving the first alert out for Lee Summit. If you actually want to zoom in and try to do a storm track, I know we can't zoom in too close because it's moving so fast. Last estimated speed was at 45. I'm talking to Neville Miller out in
The 55.
45 to 50.
Might even be faster than that, actually.
Okay, so he's going to draw
I'm
in
going to make it 55.
55. There we go. So here are the estimated times of arrival. Lee Summit High School, pretty much 1 minute from now, right on schedule. Blue Springs, that notch will hit toward you at about 8:17. Lee Summit West High School, the same time. Grain Valley, 8:21. Still within this tornado warning, mind you. Bates City at 8:29. Lone Jack at 8:31. Odessa at 8:36. And Lake Lafayette at about 8:37 as well. So this is now what we have going on. I hear that Nick is close to the storm. What do you got? It looks like
That's it right there.
Go for it, Nick.
Brian, I think I have a large rotating funnel. I'm on Interstate 70, passing Grain Valley, looking due south a few miles. I think that this is a large wall cloud, at the very least, a rotating funnel, worst case scenario here. Hang on, I'm waiting to get a little bit more lightning.
Sure. Repeat
Yes,
your
that is
position again,
definitely
please.
rotating.
It
That
does,
is a
yes.
rotating. I am in Grain Valley. I'm in Grain Valley, east on Interstate 70, looking due south a few miles. That is a rotating wall cloud, and I think it is a large funnel. I cannot tell if it is in contact with the ground.
Yeah.
But that is moving.
That's it.
Brian, it's moving east. Hang on, I got tornado sirens going off in Grain
Okay,
Valley.
Grain Valley.
You need to be taking your tornado shelter
Take your first
immediately in
alert.
Grain
Go
Valley.
to your
Immediately
immediate
in Grain
shelter.
Valley.
That is Grain Valley, Missouri. Every time between the lightning strikes, we're seeing the large funnel itself. It's tough to say because of the tree line, whether it is on the ground. I would say probably so, as Nick has got a better vantage point. And keep his mic
Tornado
open
on
so
the
he can.
ground, Marnie.
Okay, tornado on the ground. Go ahead, Nick. Go to
Brian,
full
Brian,
screen.
I have power flashes.
Yes.
I have power flashes. Turner, this is going to be right out the right side a little bit at 2 o'clock. Power flashes. This is a tornado on the ground south of Grain Valley, moving toward Oak Grove. This is a confirmed tornado.
We're
You
gonna
need
go
to
to
take
1.
your tornado precautions immediately, especially in Oak Grove. Brian, it's going to be coming very close to Grain Valley. I think it goes just south of downtown Grain Valley. Jim, I need you to go as fast as you can safely east on here. I need you to go at least the speed limit. We need to get to Oak Grove. We're looking to the south. I have power flashes, a large lowering. I can't see the ground, but I had power flashes. So I'm going to take this as a tornado that is on the ground, moving east toward Oak Grove, Missouri. That is along Interstate 70, and then eventually toward Bate City. So from Grain Valley to Oak Grove to Bate City, tornado on the ground, moving in your direction. Head to your basement or to a tornado shelter, interior room, get away from the windows, middle of your house. Brian, back to you. I need to get ahead of these trees here.
Go for it, dude. Stay safe, and
Yeah, we
every
can't
once in
see
a while,
it
just
right
interrupt
now,
me.
yeah.
Let me know what's going on. So you heard that eyewitness report. It looks like we have houses down. I'm just reading some of the reports that are coming in here. So it looks like there could be a tornado warning that will be issued. I'm sure the colleagues out at the National Weather Service have heard that report, saw the power flashes. We're going to keep his picture in there behind me, get a better indication. But this is now a tornado that looked like it was, at least on the other side of the trees, certainly rotating, large wedge, possibly moving to the east. This is going to be between Grain Valley and Bate City. So toward Oak Grove, that's where we are at least trying to tell you to take your first alert, take your tornado safety precautions very seriously. This is, as we see evidence between radar and also Nick's live picture, a tornado that's possibly on the ground. So Grain Valley, just to the south of you, that's where it appears that there could be a tornado. And let's make sure that we relay that to the National Weather Service. We can type that into the chat and let them know that as well, because I don't know if they have the volume up. We're going to try to relay that and see if we can at least get them to know what we are seeing from the field. So Grain Valley, please take your precautions right now. This is going to be south of I-70, east of Blue Springs, but the portion of the cell. Yeah, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
Brian, I have another power flash. This is still on the ground. Confirmed tornado heading toward Oak Grove. I've got power flashes, big power flashes. Turner, you got that? Yeah, you've got that. 3 to 4 o'clock outside the window.
Links
I am
one,
coming
please.
through Oak Grove on Interstate 70.
Okay.
Power flashes south of my position, south and west, about 2 miles, Brian.
That's about right, because there's Oak Grove. There's where you
lot
are
of
closer
power
to